Hello, my name is Michael O'Keefe, aka The Movie Wizard. If you enjoy this interview and want to hear more top-notch film industry conversations, please press the thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell to stay in the know. Alright, so hello Ricky Tollman. Before we get into discussing your film Run This Town, may you please tell us how you're holding up during quarantine season?
I'm surviving. Don't know that I'm thriving, but I am surviving.
All right. Was it exhausting but fulfilling to write and also direct Run This Town?
It was, I don't know that I would say it was exhausting. I'd say on the opposite side, it jacked me up. And it was incredibly exciting and fulfilling. I grew up obsessed with film. Being on set, calling action was just about the best thing I could have felt ever. So yeah, it was not exhausting. It did the opposite for me, where I probably couldn't sleep for weeks afterward.
Wow, that's awesome. Sounds like you got a real charge out of it. So, tell me about your experiences working on the Tom Hardy movie Lawless.
Movie sets where people are stressed and there's tension, and I honestly cannot understand that. It's supposed to be fun. You're playing. And it was. For us, it was incredibly fun.
Nice. So, working on Lawless, was that a good time?
On Lawless was I was an intern. So I did a lot of filing and read a lot of contracts, highlighted a lot of clauses, but that was incredibly useful for me coming at film from that side, from the production side of things, because when you're on set and you have to make your days and you know that an actor has a hard out, it really helped me understand the mechanics of film from the business side rather than just the creative on-set stuff. So Lawless, I can't say that you'll see any of my work on screen there, but for me, that was a real education.
How weird was it to make Rob Ford one of your characters in your movie?
Not particularly weird. I grew up watching films about real life characters all the time, so it didn't seem strange at all for me.
Okay. All right. So I guess just because he's a larger than life guy.
Yeah.
If it was ever intimidating to try to get an actor to fill his shoes in a sense.
Rob in the script, I think of 110-page script, I think he might have been in there for 15 pages.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it wasn't about trying to tell this guy's story as much as he was the vessel to tell other people's stories. He's Jaws. You don't see him for the first half hour of the movie, and then he's revealed. So it didn't feel like, Renee Zellweger coming in and having to Judy Garland, and really getting into this person's inner life, because that wasn't the intention of the film. Certainly, we wanted to be honest and true to a real person and not make him a caricature. So that's why coming to Damien Ford was incredibly important to me. It wasn't just about finding somebody who physically resembled Rob or was a goofball how we imagined Rob. I wanted somebody who could play the charm and the humor that Rob had. Obviously, people really liked him, and he's an incredibly likable person, but he also had, like everybody else, a dark side, and it's not just about the jokes. So Damien, I think, is able to play that charm and so quickly flip into another deeper, darker side so quickly. And that was more important to me than finding somebody who physically resembled him.
What other movies would you compare Run This Town to?
Would I compare?
Yeah.
I've actually never been asked that question before. I guess I would compare. I mean, one of the executive producers of the film is J.C. Shandor, who wrote and directed an incredible film I've admired called Margin Call. And that was looking at the Lehman Brothers and stock market and just the recession of 2008, 2009 and the rumblings of that from perspective of the people lowest on the totem pole and what they do with that information. So that idea of seeing a very relatable touch point story from the perspective of the people that we don't imagine it affecting or the people affecting the story was incredibly interesting to me. And then there are, stylistically, I've always been incredibly taken with films of the 70s. So I wouldn't compare it to any of those films because I'll sound like, but I think those films obviously had a very deep effect on me visually. So I wanted to, with my DP Nick, tip a hat to those films in some way, which are like Parallax View, Clute, All the President's Men, obviously.
Yeah, I definitely get a vibe from All the President's Men. That was the one I was thinking of for afterwards. So how long have you wanted to work in movies?
From the age of 9 months was a child actor. And I remember as a child really interested in the stuff that was happening on the other side of the camera. And I would write these little plays and make movies with my friends. So I was always doing it, and I didn't know what it meant to be a director. But once I started taking writing more seriously in high school and starting to understand what a director actually does beyond standing on set and calling action and giving emotional direction to actors, I knew that I wanted to.
Okay. So just one more question for you. What has your time in LA been like, and would you ever move there?
What's my time in LA been like?
Yeah, would you ever move there?
I go to LA for really short periods to have meetings or whatever, and I find that like 1 or 2 weeks is a good enough time for me to be there. I don't know that I can live there all year round. I think there's, if you're living in LA, particularly if you're moving there, become the people that you work with or the people from the same industry as you. And I think it would be a lot to be living there and have your work be film and your personal life be film. So that's what I like about not living there right now is I can go there and do all the stuff I need to do for work, and then I can come home and see my friends and live a life that doesn't constantly revolve around talking about work.
Okay, fair enough. Well, Ricky Tollman, thank you very much for your time, and good luck with the digital release of your film, Run This Town.
Thank you very much.